Shigga digga 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 digga. Hey, hey, hey. Good morning. Sweet afternoon. And a balmy evening to you, my friends. Woo! All right. Here we go. We're getting out. We're making it happen. I just walked through that hedge. I love that hedge. I saw a wasp tussling with a bee, with a honeybee. They're doing an aerial dogfight of some kind. That bottle brushy red bush thing is so prolific. I love it. But enough of that. We must begin the running, don't we? This, after all, is a podcast. Shall I introduce myself? Shall I censor myself and not say a darn thing? You know that's coming, right? I'm going to at some point do a completely audioless run, or rather a speechless run. Let's begin, shall we? Oh God. Okay, I'm feeling it. Whew. All right. Well, if you're tuning in today, then what you're experiencing right now is called Ride Along with Run Man. It is a podcast. I am Run Man. You are the listener, and we are out here on a beautiful, beautiful afternoon, just making it happen together, you and I. Making it happen. Now, what is the podcast? Since I seem to be saying it every time, I may as well repeat myself endlessly for no reason. The point of the podcast is, I once had a very difficult time running. I liked to run, but my knees would always get me, my hips would always get me, my ankles would always get me, but particularly the knees and the hips. Now, I allowed that to dominate my patterns of behavior through my childhood. I would do active things, yes, but I never really explored my potential, and I was deeply insecure about it, right? How far can I go? Oh, how much can I lift? You know, basic things, you know? What's my fitness? I've always thought of myself as fit. I'm fitter than most people that I know growing up, but I also am not the fastest guy. I'm not the strongest guy, and I'm definitely not the most able to run for long periods of time guy. Whew. So, how about it? What's really going on here? Okay, so that was me. Not great at running, and it hurt so badly. And every time that my knees started hurting, I would feel like an old man. Shout out to Ben Patrick, knees over toes guy. He had the nickname Old Man when he was a kid because of his running habits and abilities, or lack thereof, at the time. Now that guy's going. He's just going, man. He's jumping. He's a basketball player. He's a good one. And he can dunk, and that's great. His knees got better because he did things with them. That's what I'm doing. I'm practicing. I am doing a little bit of therapy on my knees, my ankles, and my hips. Doing split squats, these kinds of things, those kinds of things. I don't bring you guys along for that, though. What I bring you guys along for is all of this. We are here because I had a limitation, and I had fear, and I had pain. And at some point in time, a few years ago, I want to say like 4 or 5 years ago, I started walking. And then I started walking most days. And then I started walking for longer periods of time. And you know, I would phase in and out, but the trend was there. And I never recorded any of it. I never thought to even, I don't think. Even though some of those walks were great. And at some point, I started running again. And then I got and this is probably around 4 years ago or so, I got a big wake-up call when I tried to do a 20-mile run in boots, half of the run while really, really drunk, late at night, alone. And boy, I made it home. But there have been a couple of times I've been in more pain than that, but not many. I was in phenomenal distress. Phenomenal distress. Visible distress. I couldn't leap up onto a curb to save my life at the end there. I know because I thought about it. So there I was, dying alone in the cold air. Jesus. And now here we are. Where are we now? We're okay at running. a little bit of knee rehab, but mostly just doing it every day. Just beginning from a very gentle place where I just ran a little bit here and a little bit there, not doing anything crazy before I got good. So that's kind of what happened. You didn't see any of that. I ran a couple of marathons. There was a year there where I think I ran 2, maybe 3. I ran one in public, one on my own, and I think I ran another one, but I think I missed the landmark mountain part of the marathon route that I had planned the second time, which to me counted. So it was the same amount of time essentially, because the mountain bit is a very small bit, but man, that thing punishes you. And I didn't do it that time. So I'm going to call it 3 marathons. Softly. So we did those, but every single time it was approaching that level of I'm in terrific, showcaseable discomfort. Seriously. Terrible pain. And, I also felt proud because I knew that I could run for 5 hours. If I really, really damn had to. 5.5 hours. A little bit more even. But that only happened a couple of times, and then I had to take weeks off of my routine. It threw me off of my routine. Off of my slowly chiseling away at it and showing up every day. So that was the position that I was in for the last few years. But then then this year, maybe 6 months, maybe 9 months ago, I kind of got back into it where I wasn't worried about running marathons or even trying to. I was just trying to feel it out. And whatever felt good, I kept doing. So here's what that means. That means that as of 6 or 9 months ago, I've run about 5 and 6 days, 6 and 7 days. Half of those runs have been about half an hour. The other half have been either an hour and a half, or 2 hours. That's kind of what it looked like. And that's kind of where I've been comfortable for a while now. But very recently, I don't know what tipped it. I don't know what changed. But something changed. And I decided, hell with it. I'm going to start looking into what it might take, what it might be like to just record myself running and talking. Because I have such a damn good time on these runs. I end up feeling so good and so right. And stuff just kind of comes, and when stuff comes to you, you have options, You can pay attention, or you cannot. You can take heed and course correct and incorporate things into your life and change things around. More of the good, You can act on what comes, or you don't. So I acted on it. I was like, screw it. I've got a phone. I'll buy a headset that I know that might work, and we'll just try. And so that was a few weeks ago. And it was fun. You can't hear me in that first episode, so I'm never going to publish it because the speaker didn't really work. The headset was pretty lame, and it was pretty rough. The second one was a little bit less rough because I used my like 5-year-old, 6-year-old defunct gaming headset that I just hadn't used, right? Forever. Ages and ages and ages. Right. But it was heavy and it was bulky. I'm using it right now. One of the speakers is dead now and has died in the last few weeks. But I thought, hey, let's just try it. And goddamn, it works. So, as long as I still have this thing, I'm going to keep doing this. When I lose it, funds are a thing. I'm going to buy one. The next headset that I buy is going to be something like this, probably. Or I start experimenting with lav mics and stuff. I guess I haven't really thought about that. Anywho, the podcast is this. I wasn't very good at running, but I wanted to. And I was afraid to test myself. Then I tested myself, found limitations, and allowed it to deter me from further development. Then I gently came back, and that was this year. Now I can run. I'm reasonably certain that if I needed to, I could run an hour a day every single day of my life without too much changing. That's really cool to know. But that's not where we're going to stop. That's where the podcast starts, essentially. So from bad to decent, I'm decent. Guess what? The reason why I'm talking to you right now is because we're not going to stop here. That's not my plan. That's not my jive. On the bucket list of running, I have a goal in mind. The podcast is you accompanying me to that goal. Every run, every time we show up. Okay, I won't do every single run. I just don't want to. I don't plan on doing anything every single day. But I have a formula. The podcast is me developing the formula. And we'll see how well it works. Here's what it is. Right now, I can do that hour every day. That's kind of what I'm doing right now. It's kind of where I've been. Okay. Well, once I'm comfortable enough with that in action, and I've sustained 5 runs in 6 days, 6 runs in 7 days, 9 runs in 10 days, a couple of breaks here and there, whatever. Once I have what I would consider to be a reasonable data pile of evidence that reinforces and backs up my instinct that says, hell yeah, dude. You don't even know how far you can go. But if you get there one step by one step, I see it happening. So once those things all agree, once everything is kind of groovy and I feel it, I believe it, and I'm ready to act on it, here's the crux. We will then turn the wrench again. And I'm talking about incrementally, remember? We're being gentle. One thing that Ben Patrick, Mr. Knees Over Toes guy himself says is we're not pushing to pain. So, I'm okay with discomfort. I think that's different. I'm okay with aches and soreness. I'm okay with needing to stretch. I'm okay with that kind of due diligence being required. Fine. Pain, I don't want. I've been there. I've seen it. Some people love it. Some people, it brings them further into their game. For me, that's true up until a point, particularly in the long run. Gotcha? Okay. One turn of the wrench is going to be some increment of time that I decide on. And I haven't decided what increment that's going to be. And it's probably not going to be solid. But maybe I'll just throw a number out there, right? I'm toying with a number. There's a couple in my brain. I'll stick with one when I actually start doing these. Ooh. Okay, so this is a maybe run, and I'm getting a signal that I might want to turn back and make this into a short run, which is fine. Occasionally, that's okay. Yeah. Let's see. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Time intervals that I will up coming forward. I'm thinking 15 minutes, maybe half an hour. You know, that sounds pretty good. I'll think about it some more over the next few runs, next couple of weeks. Oh yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna make it. Yep, this run's gonna have to turn around at this stops at this light. Maybe I'll get back out again after I get home, but no biggie. So yeah. Oh yeah, okay. Whew. Well, I guess we'll call this like part one of a bunch of runs today. What time is it? Oh, okay, so 15 minutes or so. Okay. It's respectable. So, yeah. My video gallery on my phone likes to separate these little adventures of ours into half-an-hour chunks anyway. So that actually works out pretty nice. Go home, release the bowels, maybe get back out. We'll see. It's not necessary today. It's just something that I might do. Because I'm not running with shit in my pants. You understand me? Okay. We see each other. Oh yeah, there's material. Okay. So yeah, in a few weeks, my plan is if it jives, we're gonna crank it up. I'm leaning toward half an hour because I think for the time being that I'm still in the easy adjustment period where I could probably put more juice into this thing and work up to my goal faster in a comfortable way. I might not be true, but I kind of leaning toward the bigger shift. I am on a timetable here. It's a soft one. I don't want this thing to take years. Maybe a year and change. Not 3-4 years. So I guess we have some simple math to do, don't we? Because the one component to the goal, the end game, that I have spoken about with you guys has been I'm already out of breath. Has been daily marathons, right? So daily 5.5 hour goes. At my rate of jogging, that seems to be just from the evidence that I've gathered, that seems to be my comfort zone. Seems to be what I'm capable of. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. Ideally, in an alien world where I get everything that I want just the way that I want it, we crank those numbers down because we're going faster. Anywho, daily marathons means about 5 hours of running a day, 5 or 6 days a week, 9 and 10, 9 days and 10, something like that, right? So how long would it take me to do that if every few weeks I'm cranking it up a little bit? Man, I don't know if every few weeks is going to cut it. Let's say every month we make an adjustment. How about that? Every month we make a half an hour adjustment. How long is that going to take? Let's see. Hey, let's say I don't even begin until June. Okay. June comes around, we crank for the first time. Hour and a half runs. Okay. July, 2-hour runs. Damn. August, 2.5 hour runs. September, 3-hour runs, right? October, 3.5. November, 4. December, 4.5. Huh. I could close out the year. Damn. Okay, well that's that. So maybe like 9 months, 10 months. If we go 15-minute increments, which maybe, then that, which might be where we end up, you know. We might hit a plateau until we get really comfortable and more developments happen with knee therapy and that kind of thing. So we'll, you know, soft call it 10 months or so to that goal. 2022, the year of marathons. That sounds kind of nice, doesn't it? Has anybody ever done that? Run a marathon a day for a year? besides our ancient ancestors who may have been forced into that kind of exertion level for those periods of time by hunting and things? I'm curious. I'm going to say yes, probably, but I'm not worried about what other folks have done. I'm worrying about nothing, really. My concern is with my level, where I'm at. Besides, no one's ever done what I'm thinking about doing while podcasting. At least I don't think so. So that's kind of exciting. And we'll see. It's kind of exciting. We'll see. Oh yeah. Snap the knee and keep on going. Loud knees are not weak knees. Necessarily. Whew. Okay. So, that is the podcast. Wasn't good at running. I'm okay at running now. We're going to get good at running, and then we're going to take it up to that weird, really, really good level. Just crank it right up there. And hang in a context that I will reveal when I feel like the time is right. 2 reveals I haven't done yet. My appearance reveal and the actual meat and bones of the thing that I'm working toward. You've got let's say, I was going to say you have the essence of it. Does that really ring true? No, because once you start operating at that level, at that really, really interesting, special, strange level, which I plan to get there. Apparently I can do it in a year or 2. Well, I wonder if I can do it sooner. Shit. Easy. What was I saying? Oh yeah. When you get to that really good place, that really specialized proficiency level where you're just going like a madman, or lady, or fish, or lizard, alien. Shout out to my alien viewers. You change anything at that level and everything changes. Right? Change any of the details and what you're doing is a similar but also remarkably different thing. You know? Yeah, I'm comfortable with that. So let's say you've got a fair piece to the puzzle, but you don't have the essence. You will, though. You will. Maybe I'll reveal it when I crank the wrench for the first time. Might be a good idea. Whew. That's a maybe. Maybe if I make it, right? Maybe if I live for one adjustment. We make it through June. We're alive through June. I don't die on the road somewhere. Hour and a half a day. Most days. You know, like 25 runs, let's say. It's a lot of runs. It's a lot of miles, Jack. Hey, running. You know that I just fucking love that running. Singing songs about the love that I have for running. Pacing myself and breathing. Hanging out with you guys. My friends. My not so much friends. 'Cause you don't have to be my friend if you don't want to. I've learned that over time. Sometimes little bits of that wisdom comes from running. Sometimes singing songs. I've never beatboxed and recorded it before. I'm not very good at it. Hey, this is not Beatcast, though. This is Runcast. Ride along with Run Man. No reason why we can't do a little bit of beatboxing, though. One of the less deadly, one of the more approachable forms of boxing. Perhaps I speak too soon. Ask some up-and-coming rappers battling each other to some master beatboxers. Okay, fine. Sometimes there can be stakes. That beat better box. Heads might come off. You never know. You never know. There is no safe boxing. There's no safe anything. We're little pink critters. We're little pink and soft gelatinous creatures with a little bit of infrastructure, with some bones and things. We can feel things because we've got little fibers whose job it is to feel and to make us able to move. Still, we are fragile. Nothing is safe. I could have an aneurysm right now. If that happens, I still consider this podcast a 100% rousing success. An exercise in the impossible. Completely functioning. Right up to the aneurysm. If that happens, no biggie. Because we're fragile. But just like the character of the same name in the game Death Stranding said, her name was Fragile. And her quote that she'll tell you anytime you ask her, I'm fragile, but I'm not that fragile. Well, let's leave you on that really uncomfortable, discombobulating note. Did she think she was being funny? I don't know. Beautiful actress, though. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's shut this off. Goodbye. Maybe I see you again in a sec, maybe not.